Good morning, guys. Trooper Steve here, live in Results One, and we're using our nifty little VMix machine once again so that we could bring you some high-quality interviews here live inside of Results One. So today I'm back out here at the University of Central Florida. These guys, man, it's the only time that I'd ever consider wearing a black uniform or dark blue, because these guys set the standard out here when it comes to school policing. But it is Women's History Month, and if you didn't know, their deputy chief out here is the highest ranking female in the history of the University of Central Florida's police department. And her name is Deputy Chief Robin Griffin-Kitzerow. And she's going to be joining us here this morning for a live interview talking about all things school policing, all things her. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So she's going to hop on into the truck with us this morning and have a nice little discussion about what it's like coming from South Florida here to Central Florida. So welcome in the truck, ma'am.
Well,
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Trooper Steve.
Greatly appreciate it. We're streaming live this morning. We're using the advanced iPhone in order to make this
outstanding.
Normally we have all this fun gear, but you'll notice it keeps turning off, turning on, turning off, and that's what happens with technology,
it's
right?
all good. It's all good.
So we're just going to make this work today.
Adapt and overcome.
That's it. That's it.
That's the name of the game.
Thanks for joining me. It means a lot.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've recently joined, not recently joined the ranks.
2 years.
2 years here. Man, 2 years.
Right?
Hold on. What?
I know.
2 years have flown by.
They have.
Man, and you guys have done so much already out here.
We have. Every single day is an adventure here at UCF
Yes.
PD.
So I was like, they wanted me to really figure out how can Trooper Steve get involved in Women's History Month. And I was like, wait, I know a few pretty squared away ladies in the police business. So it did take me pulling some arms over here to get Deputy Chief in the truck. It happens to be good when you're friends with her boss.
That's right.
The chief.
That's
so
right.
He's like, this is going to be a good idea.
He may have voluntold me.
Voluntold.
I can't confirm or deny that.
Right. So we're going to go for a nice little ride around UCF, get this straightened out a little bit, and talk about you. That's what I want to talk about. I've done a little deep dive into your history and all things that are you. And I was like, let's talk about it a little bit. So when did you get into law enforcement?
So in 1987, when I graduated high school, don't do the math, I'm 55.
37 years ago.
37 years ago.
I know that because I was born in 87.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
She's like, I'll kick you out of the car right
That's
now.
right. That's right. So when I graduated high school, I didn't want to go to college right away. So I looked in the classified ads, dating myself here.
All right.
And I found a job for a police dispatcher position.
All right.
And I applied and got the job and absolutely fell in love with police work. And at that time, there were not a lot of women in law enforcement.
All right.
A small percentage of women in law enforcement. And back then, you actually had to be hired to go to the academy. You couldn't self-sponsor like they do now.
Right.
And so...
Because now you can just go to an academy and not even have a job.
Right.
Okay.
So I went to the police chief at that time. Now, granted, I am young, right?
Yes.
And I said, hey, Chief, I really want to go to the academy, put me in. And he said, Robin, you're too feminine. You'll never make it.
Okay.
Which was kind of like that moment when you're going, okay, thank you for the fuel on my fire.
Right, because now I'm going to do it.
Because now I absolutely have to do it, whether I want to or not. And so, the rest is history. And it has been the most rewarding, amazing career. If I had it to do all over again and I could do anything at all, I wouldn't change a thing.
See, that's interesting because a lot of us in law enforcement, you go through... you got major highs, major lows.
Oh, for sure. You have those. Peaks and valleys.
But if you're choosing not to learn from the journey.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Then
totally agree.
What are you in it for? So where did you start your career?
So in Palm Beach County, Florida, in the little town of Palm Springs is where I started in law enforcement doing dispatch. And then by the time I made it into the academy, I was 24 years old. So at the town of Atlanta, and I worked there for 7 years.
Okay.
Worked dispatch there also for a year, and then did patrol. Went in again, same thing. You had to be hired to be put in the academy, and so they said, "We're desperate for dispatchers. If you come in and you dispatch for us, we will put you in the academy in a year." With the caveat that you have to still work for us full time while you go to the academy full time.
Okay.
So I said, done. Again,
Yeah,
how bad do you want it?
Right.
So in 1993, I went through the police academy, worked there as a dispatcher full-time while I went to the academy full-time. So my days started at 6:30 in the morning and they ended at midnight because I worked the 4 to 12
I was like, wait, they probably didn't end it.
Yeah, they worked and I worked till midnight, and then I worked the 4 to 12 shift. And so 17 weeks of that, which was a good time. And honestly, I learned so much about grit during that experience.
So what would you define as grit?
Oh, it's locking your teeth in and not letting go. It is showing up, working hard, never giving up, never, glass ceiling doesn't apply. It is, I'm gonna do this no matter what.
Right. I like that. So did you ever see yourself as a major command element in your career? Because I think you join law enforcement. I don't think anybody joins and says, I'm going to be a sheriff.
Right.
I'm going to be a chief.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing it because you're enjoying that backbone of an agency, the patrol work kind of thing.
Boots on the ground.
Right.
And it's funny that the harder I work, the luckier I get. And so every single step of my journey has been, you should really put in for this. You should really put in for this. You should really, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy where I am. And so the harder you work, the luckier you get. And so with every test, with every promotion, it's been that recruitment piece.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So where'd you come from before you got here to UCF?
So again, Lantana PD, I started my municipal policing career, did that for 7 years. I worked in Palm Beach County School District Police Department for 20 years.
Okay.
I started as an officer, worked my way up all the way to major, left there as a major. I worked for the FAU Police Department as their deputy chief for 2.5 years. And then this opening came up at UCF, and my husband, who's a retired chief, was like, listen, you got to go out and find the opportunities the higher you go. So I threw my hat in the ring, and it was all about the fit. And, my heart has always been about service. It's always been about helping people. And my heart totally aligns with the UCF culture. And
when I first met you,
culture,
I was like,
it really does.
I was like, man, they found a missing piece of the puzzle. And Chief called me and we had to talk. We talked a little bit about you, and it was like, he's like, I got a really good deputy chief.
And I got a really great chief.
You do.
Oh my gosh, I'm the best chief.
Well, between the two of you, it's like anybody, because someone will always find something to complain about.
For sure.
And sometimes people are a little candid or a little cautious around me because they're like, well, Steve's the news guy, plus he talks to our people.
Right.
And I've never seen people so excited about a command staff with you, whether it's lieutenant, captain, or up.
Right.
And everyone's just like, man, our deputy chief's got it going on.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's really cool to hear that.
Well, listen, I'm telling you, I am so blessed to be in this agency. I am so blessed. Every single day, it's not a dread to come to work. It's an excitement to come to work.
So why Central Florida, though?
Well, UCF is in Central Florida.
Well, right, but so you said your husband is a retired chief.
Yep.
How'd you get up here?
So the job drew me in here.
Okay.
And, through the deputy chief's position, and of course, and I knew Chief Metzger, from the state university system's chief's calls that we would be on, and I've always had so much respect for him. So smart, my goodness gracious! I always call him an encyclopedia with legs.
Listen,
He is the smartest.
Hold yourself
ever.
shy of that, though, because you are highly educated.
I am.
Multiple bachelor's degrees, a few masters.
Well, I have one bachelor's degree.
And then what?
3 masters.
Just 3
It's
masters.
about grit, Steve. We've covered this. No,
and
but
you're working on your doctor's right now.
I am. I'm almost done. I'm in dissertation right now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and at some point, bucket list, we'll see how it all goes. But as soon as I finish this dissertation, I finish my PhD, I really want to be an alum. I think that makes it even better. Yeah, and I don't know if it's a master's here in CJ or an undergrad. I'm not sure what that looks like.
But you just want to be part of the Knight family.
I want to be a Knight.
Who doesn't want to be a Knight, right? So through the career, why? Because I always get asked, Steve, as a trooper, you have an odd obsession with school safety.
Right.
And I'm like, well, it's so different.
Right.
It's a lot to do with community building.
Right.
Education, preventative stuff.
Right.
It's not what we use running and gunning kind of thing. You're not running to calls all the time.
It's relationships.
It's relationships. How'd you get hooked with the school policing side of things? What drew you in?
Well, I've always had like that heart for service, like we talked about before, and even when I worked in municipal settings, when community policing wasn't that cool, I was community policing.
Okay.
And I knew the kids in my community, and I knew their stories, and I knew their hardships, and I would do outreach efforts all the time for the kids that I knew were struggling with parents in addiction or struggling academically. I would visit the schools. I was kind of country when country wasn't cool. So then when the school police opportunity came up, man, it was just like a hand in a glove. And the opportunities that you get every single day to make a difference in somebody else's life, for heaven's sakes. Oh my gosh, there's so many. And the same thing too with higher ed. I call them kids because my kids are
Right.
college age, but these are students. We own this. This is our house. It's important. We want to make sure that everyone stays safe and feels safe. And there's that feeling safe and being safe. And we want to make sure that they're experiencing both.
Absolutely.
But it's all about building relationships, knowing our students, knowing our faculty, knowing our staff, them understanding too that it's an open door policy for us. Like, call us, please.
Right. You guys actually want to talk to them.
We're here for you. We have time to spend time with you to help you get through your crisis, whatever it is. And I'm proud to say too, Steve, we have an agency filled with all of those same hearts for service.
You guys do, and the fact
gosh,
that you guys use me
blessed.
for your swearing-in ceremonies, I get to see this firsthand.
Yeah.
You're not just hiring new law enforcement officers. There are experienced men and women that are choosing to come to UCF Police Department, and you guys use them.
Right, and we do, and when we are hiring folks, we're kind of critically evaluating the need. We're looking at, experience, and we're looking at, I want to have that wisdom on the road. I also want to have a little bit of vinegar on the road.
Right.
So, we recruit from, we're actually starting, can I tell you about this?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool pathway
this is your
thing
interview. Go for it.
All right. So we're doing this cool pathway thing where we have explorers. We're standing up our own Explore post now. We have 5 explorers. And so that's up and running.
That's a big deal, guys. Any of you guys watching over at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, or the app, for a university to have an Explorer program, and it's not,
so exciting.
We're dealing with explorers that are UCF students, right? Not just younger kids.
And also.
So it's going to be
open.
So
it's 14 to 21. And that's the goal,
big.
too. That's the goal. We want to be able to bring folks in, students in from 14, because knowing that they're going to go to UCF.
Right.
And then, so they spend time with us, isn't it? And then they get it. They understand our culture, our policing culture, right from the ground up. So it's, 14 to 21, and then it's, let's say they're still in college, but they age out of the Explorer program. We've created a position called a cadet position.
Okay.
So that we can hire them part-time. They can work for our department part-time. And then by the time that they can conclude their degree, they're ready to go to the police academy. And so we've groomed them right from from 14 all the way up. They understand
you guys have figured it out.
Yes, they embrace our philosophy. They understand our culture. They understand what's important to us about, our students and investing in our students. So we're super excited about it. We call it backpacks to badges, and I didn't coin that. I'm going to shout out to Pablo Vargas, who I think was the one who coined that.
So when it comes to you, let's talk about you for a second. I know you don't like doing that, but as it is Women's History Month, so I want to hit on some things here, because I do think we are in a different time of policing, and the whole male-dominated career field is, in my opinion, something that shouldn't even be said anymore in law enforcement, because it's equal for everybody at this point, as long as you can do the job. So if we rewind 30 years ago in policing, what would you say then, you know where I'm going, was the biggest challenge for you as a lady getting into law enforcement, that maybe not be a bad challenge, but something that you're like, okay, I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to figure it out?
For sure. Well, we've come a long way in 30 years. And it was funny. I was sharing a story with our admin assistant this morning. I'm like, I don't know if this is appropriate to share, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We're not on broadcast, so we can get away with some stuff.
So anyway, I'm brand new to patrol, and I'm working road patrol midnight shift in the town of Lantana. And my mama comes and does a ride along with me. Now, my parents are from Auburndale, Florida, little southern people.
Okay, yep.
No one in my family is a police officer, by the way.
That was going to be a follow-up. So
yeah.
Already got it?
So they, they had a hard time accepting this from the beginning. Anyway, but once I get on road patrol, I'm working midnight shift. My mom said, I said, Mom, you want to come do it? I'm thinking, to quell her fears.
Right.
Come do a ride along
Come
with me. Right, understand.
And make sure everything's okay.
So she comes out with me and she does a ride along with me on
nice
the midnight.
Red light there, buddy. Thanks, appreciate you.
And she comes out and she does a ride along with me, on the midnight shift. And a strong arm robbery call comes out.
You're like, great, I got my mom.
Yeah, actually, I'm like, no, cool, I'm young, I'm full of vinegar, I'm ready, let's go catch bad guys. And so, they give the description. I'm in the area, I go, arrival in the area. I see someone who matches the description. I call out, we're at my location, backup's on the way. And I reach over to my mom and I said, Mama, lock the car doors. You gotta remember, she's a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And she's a little southern lady. And I said, Mama, lock the car doors and, don't get out.
Right, stay there, wait for me.
And so as I'm attempting to exit the vehicle, she grabs my arm and goes, shouldn't we wait for a man? Right? So anyway, funny story. We've come a long way since those days.
Right.
And, even in my career too, I can tell you, when I was having children, we were pulled off the road and they cut your salary.
Right.
There were no lactation rooms. You were doing it in a squad room, a
right.
bathroom or something, a dirty bath, whatever. So a lot has changed.
Yeah.
And
to accommodate their
and
officers.
So much has been done from the women that paved the way before me. Look at an air horn in this thing. Yeah. It's green, off the phone.
Jeez, they don't know. I've got the deputy chief in the truck right now. Lucky she can't stop anybody in this thing.
Listen, doesn't mean...
And yes, I do have an arrow. No siren, though.
Doesn't mean we can't call for reinforcements.
This is true.
So, anyway, we've come a long way. The women who paved the way before me, gosh, they did a lot of the hard work for me and made it possible for me and those in my generation, too. And hopefully, if I'm doing my job right, I'm paving the way for the women behind me, too.
Perfect.
That's always the
You're
objective.
so good at this because you're segueing into my next kind of question. So, Pete, if there's a female out there right now that's like, man, if she can do it, I can do it.
Right.
What would you say to someone who is considering a law enforcement career in 2024?
Right.
That they should be ready for and that they should be doing?
And females and males.
Yes.
I would say this. I would say it's about increasing your marketability. When we have applicants and we have people that come in, we're looking for the best of the best.
Right.
So, make sure that you have good, solid job history. Make sure that you're pursuing an education. Make sure that you're living clean lives. Social media and all those things that you get involved in at this kind of generation gets involved in. Live a clean life because it's going to turn up. We're going to see it. We're going to find it.
So many people think, I deleted it.
Yeah, no.
No.
And it's going to hurt you.
You're applying to a police department.
It's going to come back and bite you. So you gotta live a clean life, and and get into it for the right reasons.
What are the right reasons?
The right reasons are to help others, to serve others, to protect the community. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's really, really true.
Right.
It's a call for service, really, truthfully, this profession. It is, and that's why when we get up and we come to work, we're so excited to be here.
Every day.
Every day. You can relate to this.
I can. I get excited talking about it because I miss it so much. Yeah. And people are like, man, wearing all the gear and that's the coolest part. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but you know that you're doing something more than
for the greater good.
Absolutely, and it does sound cliche, but it's truth.
For the greater good.
Absolute truth.
And you think back, and I think back in my career, the people that I've had the opportunity to help and serve along the way, I'm so grateful that I was used in that way to help people. And I'm so grateful to work alongside folks here at UCF PD and also in the, our neighboring law enforcement communities.
Right.
My goodness, that we have the best collaborative relationships with law enforcement here in Central Florida.
Well, you guys host the biggest events all the time, so you have to have that.
We do. It's not just that, football. It's when we're, we have protests and we're deploying ERT and we're, it is a phone call and they're there. We are there for them. They're for, here for us. it's such a great collaboration. It's such a great relationship. It's all comes back to relationships,
No, it
right?
does. It does. Deputy Chief, I know that you guys are always busy, but you guys always make time for me. So I just want to say thank you very much.
That was is that it? We're too easy.
Well,
Golly, this is great.
you said 10 minutes, 15. I'm like, we'll go for 20. We've been going for 20 at this point.
It's good. It's all good. I enjoy my time with you, Steve, and we're so grateful for the relationship that we have with, Channel 6 and just all our media partners, and
more importantly, Channel 6.
Yes, and most importantly, Channel 6. But we are so grateful. You're such a good partner to us. So supportive. I appreciate that. We really value that a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. So guys, if you guys are interested in all things UCF, please go over to UCF PD's Facebook page, follow them on Instagram, Twitter. They have every social media platform that is out there. They have it. And when anything happens on campus, they put it out there. It's not just, oh, here's UCF icon. No, you guys are so informative and proactive at pushing information out.
And also, I want to give props to my peeps here.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Don't come to UCF to commit crime. If you do, we will catch you.
You guys are quick.
We're on it, and we won't rest until we find you. I mean, that's our philosophy, because this is our house, and we're here to protect we want to protect our house. So
Knights with armor protecting the knights that are learning.
These are, when people drop their kids off at college, we want them to know we're on this. We're paying attention. They're our kids too.
Well, and I'll attest, these guys are squared away. Squared away. Before I start getting all emotional, Steve, I love this department so much. They are always hiring.
Yes.
Always hiring.
Yes. Yes.
Very high standards here at the University of Central Florida. But if you are looking for a career in law enforcement that is much more bigger than just answering call after call after call, and you actually want to make a big difference, not only in your community, but in yourself, this is a great place to be. And they've got amazing leadership. And now I get to say that I'm really good friends with both the chief and the deputy chief. So I can tell you right now, the biggest compliment I give to anybody is I'd work for any of these two, whether it's the chief or the deputy chief, in a heartbeat. And you guys know, I don't like to work for anybody. So in a heartbeat, I'd come work for you guys. So
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
As soon as we have an opening.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna call Steve.
The recruiters are gonna be all over you now, Steve.
Yeah. So Chief, thank you so much, man.
Oh gosh, my pleasure.
Appreciate you guys. Go Knights.
Charge on.
Yes. So you can watch this full stream over at clickorlando.com. Of course, we're always bringing you and getting your results all around the clock, and so is UCF PD. You guys have a great day, and be safe while you're here on campus all the time. Take it easy, guys.